Hello overseers, last episode we unlocked toxic mold processing and bred hazmat ants to survive its deadly effects. Now we're putting them to work. Acid production is crucial for our next upgrades, but it's a dangerous job irradiating any ants that come near. We need to refine our hazmat ant production and carefully manage this hazardous process. So can we safely scale up our acid production without losing control? Well, let's find out. Start by defining what we're going to try to achieve this episode. With our mold being collected, we need to start converting it into acid. We know the process looks a bit complicated. It looks like this. Basically 15 mold blubber becomes a single drop of acid. We need acid to start making batteries, and I'm guessing all these other ants and stuff for all our other I think this creates the new gene basically, and that's what we want to try to work towards. But battery is basically the first step towards that. So we need to make battery ants. We made one last episode just to test it out. They can do hauling, foraging, and plant cutting. Nothing special about them besides the fact they have an 18-minute lifespan and they move faster than your standard tier 1 ants. But we need batteries. To make a battery, it's a little bit complicated. We need to use a facility and we need a copper and an acid. So there's a few ways we can do this. We can either stick to our usual plan of trying to transport everything back to our main island. I don't think that's efficient because of the acid press. We need 15 mold blubber to extract an acid. That means we're going to need to farm a lot of this mold, an absolute ton of them, and transport it all back. To get the throughput we need, we're probably going to need like many catapults to do all that, to get all that mold rubber back. The advantage of it is obviously we can build all our acid presses and stuff all on this main island. We don't have to keep transporting material across to get everything built. But I think for the longevity of this, we should probably use this area over here to build a proper mold acid sort of setup. Then once we have that, we can actually directly tack this onto the back of the acid press and get them to make batteries here. And then we can send the batteries back to our main island. That's how I'm going to try to set it up. Now, anything that involves touching this mold irradiates your ants, so we obviously can't use our normal ants for this process anymore, and instead we're going to have to make the hazmat ant. And to assemble a hazmat, we're going to need a tier 2 worker and a resistor. Tier 2 workers, I assume, are made from tier 1 workers, and I don't think we've unlocked the tech to do it yet, but here is the tier 2 worker ant. We need to have created 30 small tier 2 small workers. To make the small workers, we need to do this process over here. We need to get larvae boosted to tier 2 first, and they require resin. So everything that we're doing starts with expanding our resin production. We currently have one facility making resin and it is not enough. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I realized there was a little bug in my catapult system from the desert island last episode, so I'm just fixing that up. My pod workers died because I didn't have a bin here. I hadn't set this to assemble pod worker 2s. So we've set that now, and hopefully these pod workers will continue working. I've got one set up to go there, and then I've got another one coming out here. It's going to make its way up there as well. It's going now. So I'll set that pod worker there. This should get our materials continuously catapulted over. It's fantastic. Everything else is going okay. We've got plenty of fiber coming from our fiber island. The stockpile is full at the moment, so yeah, we don't need to do any more plant cutting. We're going to need to expand our fabric operations before we can expand our resin operations. Currently we have these two dudes doing fabric, but we probably need a bigger fabric operation at some point. Fabric is positive, but not positive by much. Once I expand the resin operation, I doubt it will still be positive, so we might need to move the fabric somewhere else. Probably just over here will do. Let's just move this stuff out of the way. All our little monuments and island scanners. Let's see if we can fit 4 fabric things along here somewhere. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support DataEngineerPlays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. I think 4 fabric makers will do the trick. And we might have to expand concrete operations at some point too, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. Here's my concept trail. It's basically just a doubled up version of this right next to each other. So now we've got 4 of these. We're going to get rid of these. We'll send our ants back onto this trail. We don't need these anymore. Let's get rid of these old trails. We'll do all our cleanup properly because we just try to keep our base as tidy as possible. You know, it's never a bad thing. We'll get these going over here. And then we might figure out, I wonder if I can pull everything out one and then put some lamps in there to get them going down this trail a bit faster. I'll do that later. that's fine, but hopefully that will get the fabric going. I just want to test the trail, make sure it's all working before I leave it. Got plenty of iron worker ants on the trail to use, so we still can add more processes to this if we need to, and we probably will need to very soon. Seems to be working. I just gotta get the slinger assigned. Can't forget the slinger assignments. The slinger definitely lets you compact all your builds a lot more, which is fantastic. But now with this much fabric, we should be able to at least get a second resin maker. Now I wonder if there's a way I can make my facility a little bit more robust, because I don't want to have to keep checking back in on the facility and being like, well, did it stop because it's got the wrong materials in there? I wonder if there's some possible way of doing this better. Let me think about it. I mean, I want to do it better without making the trail too convoluted. Now, I tried a few different setups. I couldn't get one that I liked, so we're just going to stick to our standard one. I've just made a bit of a modification to make the trail a little bit more compact. And of course, we're using slingers since we've got multiple trying to get into the same storage. Just moved my diode maker up here for now because we might have more, and we just set up a temporary trail over here just to get rid of this stockpile. It's about to disappear soon, so I'm going to get rid of this. There we go. Does this trail have an old gate? It doesn't, does it? Let me set one up. Alright, cool. So we'll get these ants back on the trail. Now we'll get rid of this part, and then we can just delete this. Alright, fantastic. So now we've got some room for expansion in case we need more resin than this, because it looks like we're going to need tons and tons of resin. Where is all my resin? Why do I only have 5 resin now? What did it all get used for? I'm throwing it all over there. Where is it all going? I know resin is being used to make LEDs, but I had like heaps of resin. Where did it all go? I have no idea. Anyway, that's fine. Let's start focusing again. We should be resin positive with this process. We need to monitor it a bit, make sure it doesn't deadlock, but hopefully with the inputs now in the right spot, it won't deadlock. I'm hoping. Now to make this a little bit faster, we will add some LED lights, because most of this is all just movement, right? So that will definitely benefit from having those trail lights. What are they called? I think the production item, or is it a transport item? A small beacon. I think they will all benefit from a small beacon. Can I put it here? Yeah, there we go. Check it out. The small beacon makes this so much faster. Now they just zoom in. Most of the time is just spent processing the actual resin. Hopefully we get that resin positive. I think most of the resin is being used for this at the moment, which is fine. We're getting so many LED lights. That's good. Fabric is looking okay. 17. We'll have to monitor it. If we need more fabric, we might need to process more fabric. Our fiber's looking okay as well. Okay, everything's looking good. Yeah, we're getting more resin now. So over on this side of the world, we need to start looking at setting up for hazmat ants. And for hazmat ants, we need to start getting tier 2 ants onto this side of the island. Now, we did increase the number of tier 1 ants on this island, which we don't really need that many of, because I had a bunch making mold, gathering all this mold out of here, but we don't really need to do that anymore. Let's set up a system. We still probably need our 2 drones here transporting all the lava, but sometimes we want it to transport tier 2 lava. I'm gonna have to set up, let's just start creating our tier 2 lava first, I think. We'll do it one step at a time. We need this step of the process. So maybe we'll just start with the 1 lava booster and see how that goes, because I don't know how many of these dudes we actually need. So we've got plenty of lava, which is a good thing. I guess our first question is, where do we build our lava boosters? And I'm not really sure, but we have some spare room over on this side. So maybe we can just do it here for now, or we can just we'll just put a temporary setup over here, because I have no idea how many of these I need. And yeah, we'll just put that here. How do we even build these in series? I'm just gonna build 1 for now. We're just gonna build 1, and then if we need more, we'll build more. But essentially, we're gonna need some sort of lava to go in here, some sort of trail that goes to like a bunch of lava boosters, something like this, like say there's more lava boosters along here, and then that will come out as tier 2 lava. So we'll need a bunch of lava, or another trail, say here. Well, you get the point. I'm just gonna make this small, and then that's gonna need to go store it into another lava storage, and then that will store tier 2 lava in theory. Now we'll need a set of ants working these trails, so we'll just grab them from, I guess, this side, since I see spare ants here and no spare ants here. We are maintaining stage 13, which is fine. Yeah, we're just maintaining stage 13 at the moment. Or stage 12, stage 13, yeah. I think we got just the right amount of ants. So I don't really want to change this too much. So we'll just take some spare ants from here. We should be able to grab some. Now I know we have way too many ants on this trail. I think most of them are dying, so we don't even need 25 on here. We'll change that back to like 22 maybe. And we'll just grab a few spare ants from here. So we'll get our counter gates out this way. And then we'll grab a trail that goes into here for now, and then a trail that just goes down to here for now, and that should give us our continuous process for boosted lava. Takes quite a while to boost lava, but I have no idea in what quantity I need, so I'm just going to leave this open and scalable. There's our first boosted lava, and then it's going to put the tier 2 lava into this lava storage. Fantastic. Now we need to bring whatever tier 2 lava we have onto the other side of the world. So I'm going to put the dispenser over here next to our current lava dispenser. In theory, if I put it in front of it, the drone should always grab a tier 2 lava as a priority and then drop it off over here. Now here's our tier 1 lava storage. We probably need a tier 2 lava storage as well. So we're going to need to build that, and I'm hoping I have enough materials to build that. We have the iron plates, but we don't have the fabric, so I'm going to have to get an ant helping out bringing some more materials over. Do you have plenty of life? You do. Actually, you know what? We have a nice little battery worker that's spare here. You might as well go do some work for me before you die. Now our fabric dispenser is over here, so we're going to go dispense that fabric. And we're going to sling that to here, and we're going to get this to store fabric. Oh crap. These guys have all got tier 2 lava and nothing to store it into. Oh well, it should be pretty fast to get the fabric. I won't lose too many ants. I got plenty of ants here anyway. Alright, fantastic. We have tier 2 lava here now. We got to hatch that tier 2 lava into some sort of tier 2 ants. The other thing I want to do is start bringing concrete over, because we're going to need to go to this side of the island at some point. Therefore, we need bridges. I'm going to assume there's going to be a to and a from bridge at some point. We'll just bridge it here and back for now. And we're going to need a whole bunch of concrete for that and a whole bunch of copper wire. So let's start bringing that over. That one is concrete. So we'll get this to go over here, and we're going to change this to bring concrete over. There we go. Now it's slinging concrete. It'll slowly start building the bridges while we figure out everything else. Let's check this system. Yes, we are indeed storing tier 2 lava now. Now there shouldn't be that much tier 2 lava. Most of it should still be tier 1 lava. Let me just check that. So there's 2 left. And once it gets those 2, we should be in some sort of equilibrium, and it should start grabbing the tier 1 lava again. We'll need to control this at some point. Now, how's this mining going? There's still 900 glass here, unfortunately, so I still don't have much room to build here. Let's clear some of this area. I'm not going to do my acid pressing on this side anymore. We'll probably do it on this side at some point. Let's clear this area, and let's just get some hazmat ants spawned. What else do we need for a hazmat ant besides tier 2 workers? Nothing really. We just need resistors, but we'll have to transport the resistors from this side. Okay, that's fine. Resistors is fine. We can get that process going at some point. But now let's just start spawning the tier 2 lava, because I need to spawn 30 tier 2 small workers to even get this all kick-started off. Oh no, I've screwed up this process a little bit. It's taken too long. Are we ever going to get a regular worker here? Nope, we're only getting tier 2 lava. We might have to do some stockpile gate here, because it looks like the tier 2 lava is spawning too fast that it's not grabbing tier 1 lava anymore. I'm just going to stop this process for a bit, and then we'll try to figure it out at some point. But we need some tier 1 lava to keep this process going, otherwise all my ants are going to die and stop doing stuff. It's going to bring one over here, and you're just going to go in and work this trail for a bit and start spawning me new ants. Otherwise I'm going to have no more ants here. That's not good. We're going to need another incubator, so I'm going to put one down. What do we need to build the incubator? We have everything we need to build the incubator. We'll change that to incubate tier 2 small workers. So we'll just do it somewhere over here. Get a dispenser going this way. And then we just get a small trail going like this for now. Get a counter gate going out. Get an old gate going back out this way. And that should start incubating our small workers. Gonna get a null trail to get them to run circles for a bit. They're just gonna die because I just need the small workers to become big workers essentially. Our first bridge is done, our second bridge is going, so we can start sending the workers across to the other side if we need to. Is the small worker, can it do anything special? It can cut plants, so I suppose we can get it to just go cut some mold rubber. You might as well, since we're just letting them die anyway. Got another large stockpile going over here. Get them doing some work while they live. And hopefully we'll get 30 of those spawned at some point. I'll go track that thing so I can stop making these once they hit 30. Alright, now we gotta do the process of actually controlling how many of these go into each one. So what if we use some sort of divider trail, or should we use a timer gate? Like every 30 seconds grab a tier 2 worker. I don't know if that's gonna work. I think a stockpile gate is more robust. We don't always want one worker here. Maybe we'll just use a timer gate, probably easier to control. Or should we use a divider? I'm so confused, so many options. Alright, let's just go with a divider for now, and we'll go 50-50. So we want to go that way or that way. Then if you grab one from here, we want to go this way, and then into here, essentially. So what's going to happen is it's going to try to grab a tier 2 ant, and then if it can grab one, it'll grab a tier 2 ant, and then off it goes. If there's no tier 2 ant, then it'll grab it, and then it'll go this way, and it'll get the tier 1 ant, and then every other one will grab a tier 1 ant. So hopefully we'll always have regular ants on this trail as well. We'll have to look at the numbers and see if that works out for us. How are these guys doing? Why have you just stopped doing stuff? Apparently we've made 8 of these already, although I don't feel like we've made 8 of these already. Oh wait, they've already grabbed a lot of mold rubber. That's pretty cool. Now, concrete is also dwindling, so we probably need to start upping our concrete production at some point. But we'll leave that for now. Just want to make sure this process is working okay. Of course, if we need more ants, we can always increase the drones coming out of here. But this is looking okay. All these processes are fine, and we're still getting digger ants, which is the most important part, because we've got to dig out all this crap. Our ants are still tossing back all the glass and all the scrap iron that it can get. How is our scrap iron going on this side of the world? We're positive on scrap iron again, it looks like. Let's check in on these ants mining this. Still got 400 to go, so plenty of scrap iron. Oh, got way too many genes. Let's do a thump. How's our resin going? We are still resin positive, I think, even with this new resin process. Because this is now full. Okay. I don't even have an old gate for these guys. I don't know where I should send the old ants for this trail. I suppose we can just send them up this way. Get even more of these guys going, not that we need them. Now while waiting for stuff, we've just doubled up our concrete production. Nice and easy to expand upon. Since I can see that our concrete is slowly dwindling. We need to double that up. We're halfway to about our tier 2 worker ants. So we can probably start trying to set up on this side. I might need to clean out this mold rubber. So we might stop operations on this one because we don't really care about this guy anymore. We'll start sending them across the bridge. They'll go this way. And once they're across the bridge, they can go harvest out this mold rubber. Do a nice tight plant cutting trail. Just need to create some space for us to work on this side of the island. This is almost done. We've got the concrete. Now we just need the wire. So we're going to start switching that over. We'll start bringing wire instead. Assign that to wire, and then it'll start completing off that bridge. I don't know if I need a bridge back or not, but it's better to just have it and not need it. But at the moment, we're just getting them to harvest out this mold rubber, so hopefully that'll get it done pretty quick. Now, it looks like we don't have enough ants saturating this area anymore. I'm having some issues here, so I'm going to quickly, before an ant dies, start gestating more ants. So I'm going to increase the amount of drones here, because this is becoming a problem. We can very easily do that by increasing this to every 2 minutes, just double up the drones again. We obviously need more drones. Alright, our bridge is done. We don't have to send any more wire across, so I'm going to stop this process. And we're basically just waiting. We're waiting until we get all this done. We might as well start setting up some stuff while we wait. So basically, we need to make batteries, right? So this is going to... We're going to need some sort of trail that does something like this. The mold blubber comes in here, and we haul it all into this thing, right? Something like that. And then from the outside of this, temporarily we need to store it into a fluid container, because I believe I need to get through here to get to pod ant 5. So I definitely need to build a fluid container and fill it up with acid. 10 acids into a fluid container. All right, so I'm not getting away with not building a fluid container. So let's also start transporting the stuff for a fluid container across. We're gonna need glass shards and resin. So didn't I bring glass blocks over before? Apparently not. There's a glass block here thing here. So if I just assign that to glass blocks, and I'm gonna assume there's a glass block dispenser somewhere here. Nope. That's not glass blocks. There's glass blocks there. So we'll start sending some glass blocks over to the other side. Now with more drones over here, I'm assuming this process is now self-sustaining. Yes, we're getting more ants over here. We're getting more of these ants over here, which is fantastic. Why have you guys all stopped? Oh no, we've got too much mold blubber issues. So hopefully that'll harvest that out quite quickly, especially with them all irradiated. Well, way too many of these ants. So we've got the glass, now we just need our resin. So I'm gonna switch this over to resin. Get my resin dispenser over here. We've got heaps of resin now. We're resin positive with 2 of our facilities making resin, which is fantastic. So we can get some resin flung across to the other side of the world. And we'll just assign that target there, and that should get our fluid storage built. And we had some acid over here that we can store. The next one that comes out, we might get it to store some acid. Why are they both running out of ants to put on the trail? This thing has 7. I just don't have enough drones on this trail. Well, 1 more is coming, so we should be sweet. What's going on down here? You finished cutting this stuff up, so yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with you anymore. I don't think I need this whole process anymore. We might get rid of it and just have some more digger ants. So I don't have enough stockpiles to store whatever that was. Get rid of it. What goes here? I think that goes nowhere. Yeah, there we go. So that should all become digger ants now. We shouldn't make any more of these. Our acid fluid capacity thing, our fluid storage thing is ready now. Now how does this even work? Look how big this thing is, crazy. So once the acid is done, we need to haul it over and then back. Something like that, I have no idea. But I guess you can just start making some acid so we can start unlocking this as well. They'll get irradiated and die too, but at least we'll have some acid being made. You can probably bring the acid to the other side of the world for me. And then we need to bring our facility at some point. Once we finish storing our 10 acid, then we won't store it and we'll directly put it into the facility and make our final thing. But yes, we've almost made our 30 ants, so we're ready to unlock our worker ants. Hopefully it's just a simple combiner. Hopefully. Now you flung a bunch of resin over, that's not good. So resin is like super valuable to me, so stop doing that. But we might leave the resin here in case it's needed for whatever purposes. Anyway, we're done with our little tier 1 worker ants, so they're all going to the other side of the world, which is fine. We might move this process over here to be like an independent sort of process. You're like fully irradiated. Go over here in the acid press and then do some stuff. What? It goes up into here and then goes down into here. What the heck is this process? Super weird. Anyway, that's fine. All right, we're done with our tier 2 workers. Let's go and unlock the next step. So over here, we can do this, and now we need 10 of these points, which is super easy to get the worker ants and the heli drones. We might as well get the heli drones as well. They're created in an assembler and a random island scanner. That needs the new gene points. I see. Okay, that's cool. What is a random island scanner? Is that like a new island? Okay, that's cool. I don't know if these are like placeholder things or what. Target island scanner. I have no idea. But we won't worry ourselves about that. Heli drone is one of the other drones that we need for our instinct. I think we needed the tier 2 workers, batteries, and heli drones. So we'll have to figure out those processes. But for now, we've got tier 2 workers. So let's figure out how that works. In a combiner, there's probably going to be a recipe for it. So let's put that into a tier 2 worker, and that just requires tier 2 small tier 1 workers, which is fantastic. So now we just need to figure out what we want all of these guys to be doing. So let me figure all that out. And basically we want all hazmat workers. This is an interesting process, because do we have any work for these guys to do that aren't hazmat before they get turned into hazmat workers? Not really. We just need hazmat workers essentially, because all of these processes are toxic, right? Okay. And then the hazmat worker requires a resistor. So we need to start bringing our resistors across to this other side. So many things to do, but we'll just do it all one step at a time. So we'll set that to this, and now that should start bringing resistors over to the island to make our hazmat workers. We'll set that to resistor, and then we'll have some resistors on this island. Alright, now we're going to have to do the hard part of setting up this acid press to get it all working. So I'm going to do that, and when that's ready, I will come and talk about it. So I'm going to start off by building a bunch of acid presses. Now we're going to transport all these materials over. It's going to take some time, so let me get that done, and then I will come back and we'll start the build. Guys, so I finally transported all the material for 4 acid presses, and we finished mining out one of these mold blubbers. I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way, and we're going to figure out how we're going to do this. So get this ant out of the way, and then we'll just delete some of this stuff, and then we'll start placing our acid presses somewhere that makes sense. So it'll be something like this. Our acid presses will kind of work, I think, the same way our other trails work. Let me just think about this for a second. We're going to need hazard ants working these mold blubber things. So maybe we'll just put them in a line, I'm thinking. Start with a line and then we'll go from there. I don't know why I decided to go with 4 as my starting setup. That might be a little bit excessive. But hey, at least if we get this set up correctly, we won't ever need any of these anymore. But essentially these, our tier 2 ants are going to come in here. They're going to then immediately just combine into a worker ant and then just become a hazmat ant. Because there's nothing for them to do, is there? Let me just think about that for a second. Probably want them to transport the acid because they're not going to die transporting acid, right? Think about this for a second. So what if we flip this way? Say like here, get this ant out of the way. We'll do something like this, and then for the null trail that comes out here, we'll get them to, we won't get a null trail, we'll get a hauling trail to haul through all 4 of these, picking up any acid they can, and then just going to store it into my acid vat. Because the acid vat is a little bit random. Ugh, this is super annoying. Can't even flip this the way I want it to be flipped. We'll just do this. I wanted to put it a bit out of the way, but that's fine. So we'll get a hauling trail to go into the acid, and then once they've done dropping off the acid, they can then go and combine themselves and become something. I don't know, we'll just test it out and see if this works. We'll get a divider going like here. And then this thing will combine them into tier 2 workers, and then immediately we will then just combine them into the next ant that we need, which is the hazmat ant. Because the workers don't have anything to do. I don't really, well, if we figure out some work for them to do, then so be it. But otherwise, yeah, I don't really see any work for them to do. So then we're going to need a constant flow of resistors to keep making hazmat ants. And then we're going to have to see when the hazmat ant dies and gets old and we recycle it, what that turns into. So I'm also going to start putting down a recycler because we're going to need another one. Very much hoping I get my resin back. Now, while I'm waiting for the concrete to transport for the recyclers, we can try to set this up. So basically we've got our mold rubber things, for example, like here. And we basically want our hazmat ants running a trail like this. Or it'll be a hauling trail, wouldn't it? This will be the holding trail for my ants, I guess. And then we'll have these ants going out of here into there, and they'll just do loops around here, just loading up the mold rubber. I have no idea if any of this is going to work, so we'll have to figure it out as we go. But here's our first 2 that are getting combined. And we also probably need to control how many ants come out here because we don't want to send 10 billion ants. So let's get better control of that. So instead of a divider, what I want is a timer, I think. So let's say every 60 seconds to start with, and then we'll see if that's too much. So every 60 seconds, it'll go over here and grab one, and then it'll go back over here. So hopefully that will slow down the bringing of tier 2 ants because we don't want to waste all our materials doing this. So at the moment, our ants travel over here, deliver some acid, and then they go over here and they become hazmat ants. And then the hazmat ants are going to go into this trail, and then some of them are going to go collect the mold rubber, I suppose. So let's just get 1 counter gate out over here, for example, and then we'll get 1 cutting trail, like as small as possible, and we'll get that collecting mold rubber, for example. Let's see if that works. This is our first hazmat ant. Check it out. It takes so long to make one. I feel like we only need 2 hazmat ants or something like that. I'm not too sure about the volumes of this. And then here, this process of making batteries, do we even need anything for that? I'm not really sure. We also need to probably set up our resistor thing. So we have it over here, but we haven't actually set it up. Let's have a look at our things. Our resin ant is confused. That's great. What are we running out of? Fabric is okay. Concrete, we are, right. The resin ants are confused because I have a lack of concrete. I need to stop sending the concrete over to the other side of the world. I've already increased my concrete factory to 4, so that should catch itself back up very soon. We'll let everything stabilize, and then we'll have a look at what's going on. We definitely need to get some resistors going. So let's start setting that up as well. I'll just put it at the end in case I need to add another one of these things. But a resistor requires diodes and casing, and we do have an excess of casing and diodes, so hopefully we can make a bunch of resistors. I don't think casing is used for anything else. Does this use casing? No, it doesn't. What is casing even used for? I don't think it's being used for anything. So that's fine. Let me set up my trails. So we'll get a hauling trail out this way, get a divider going into either one of these, and then we'll get a hauling trail coming back, and then it'll drop off the resistor over here. We'll get a counter gate going in, and an old gate coming out, and that should be that. Probably get 2 ants on this trail since we've got more work for them to do now. Let me get 3 ants on this trail as well. We haven't old gated out this trail either, so let me just put an old gate somewhere, and then it can go out. Alright, let's have a look at these hazmat ants, since we've finally created one. There it is. It's hard at work. It's so slow. Tighten up this trail a little bit. Get it go a little bit faster. We've got to mine out all this mold rubber. They live for 15 minutes each, and then we've got to see once they go into a recycler what happens to them. Now I'm running out of resistors already, so we've got to move over the rest of our resistors to this side of the world. So we'll get them transporting resistors, and this will be a constant process, so we might need to have a permanent ant on this trail. We'll have to set the logistics for that up as well. So we'll assign this back to the resistor one so we can start just transporting some resistors over for now. Then we can figure out a permanent solution for that. This takes forever to make a hazmat ant. So I've only made 1 hazmat ant. This is my 2nd hazmat ant. Now it's going to come out, and it's hopefully going to go over here and start doing this acid thing. Let's see if this trail works. I mean, kind of. They're just so slow. I want to test also if I use a regular ant doing this, will it get irradiated? Because it has time in between this to recover, right? Probably shouldn't be using my tier 2 worker ant, but we'll see. Let's watch its lifespan. It's getting irradiated, and then it's not irradiated. And then it's irradiated, and then it's not irradiated. I like this. Check it out. This works. Oh, that's cool. So that means I don't need as many hazmat ants as I think. Okay. That changes things a little bit. Let me reset up this path then. Alright, I tested this process a little bit, and no, it doesn't work, because what happens is when all of these are loaded up and they all start extracting acid, this ant ends up carrying this mold around all the way constantly. And because it's carrying it around constantly, it's going to get irradiated and die. So unfortunately that plan doesn't work. We're going to have to go with the old plan of sending them straight in there and then becoming hazmat ants. Just having hazmat ants on this trail slowly doing stuff, I think is the best way to do it. Yeah, it'll be slow, but at least they won't die. So we'll get rid of what we've done, and we'll just do our original plan, which is just getting an old trail out of here and then doing that. And then we'll just have our hazmat ants carrying stuff around this trail, and it seems like we're going to be producing plenty of acid, and when new ants come out of here, they will grab some acid and bring it over, and then we'll just have more hazmat ants. Now the question is, with all of these producing 8 acid, there's not going to be actually enough ants coming out of here to pick up all the acid on their way. So we might have to get them, but then they're going to get irradiated. Oh man. How do I get them to do a couple of loops and then just go into here? It's so hard. I don't want all these processes to be done by hazmat ants. This is crazy. Also, let's move some of these things over to get rid of some of this mold rubber. I mean, I can get it all just done by hazmat ants, not a problem. Still testing what the hazmat ants become when we recycle them. So I've got my recycler set up, ready to go. But yes, I don't think the ants, see how we've got like 2 acid here now? I don't think the ants here are going to be able to take that acid into this properly. Anyway, we've stored our 10 acid into here, so we might not even need to use this process. So we'll have to rethink that a little bit. So let's go over here and have a look. Now we can unlock this drop of acid thing, and we can unlock the dissolver. I don't know what that does. A device that looks like a faucet. It can drip acid onto a material to create a solution. All right, so that lets us make 2 new things called the crystallite and biofuel, which I have no idea what that's going to be used for, but I feel like we need to go up in this direction to unlock this stuff. Energy collision 2 produce 50 energy pod 4s. What? Oh wait, that's just a thing that we have to do. And then energy pod 5, which can be now created. Great, we can make energy pod 5s and we can unlock the pod worker ant. We have everything we need now, so we can make pod worker 5s. And then over here, we need to make the heli drones. Well, we can already make heli drones. So we can make everything for the genes that we require. We just need to properly set up our battery production. So if this process doesn't work, then I'm thinking, why don't we take the acid directly into some stuff instead of having them go into this complex ass fluid container? Why can't we just take the acid directly out of here and put them into one of these things? Will they get irradiated doing that? Oh, it's so complex. Either that, or we can just have another loop over here where these guys just go and store stuff. In which case, we just want to produce the ants immediately and only have a fixed amount of hazmat ants just working this and producing stuff. I suppose that's a thing that we can do. So there's it just feels bad because there's literally no work our workers can do, and they're just being full life converted into hazmat ants, but it works, so I don't see an issue with that. It's not the most optimized process. Why aren't these guys doing anything? Alright, because there's nowhere to put the things. Alright, let me think about this. Let me redo a different setup for this. The fact that it takes so long to produce makes this a little bit annoying. Alright, so here it is. Because everything is toxic, there is no sort of hack I can think of to get them to use normal ants in any capacity, because normal ants wouldn't be able to transport this acid all the way to this fluid thing without getting radiated. And there's no way to go, alright, once you're radiated, then you become an ant. So we're just going to have to use these crappy hazmat ants that are slow as heck. We need some that are transporting the acid out of the machines, and then some that are just transporting the acid in here. So I've just got a trail coming out. So all these new ants that are coming in that are becoming tier 2 small workers, they're immediately going to combine into a new worker, and then the new worker is going to come out here and saturate these trails. The annoying thing is that they can't load in new mold rubber until the acid in these are picked up, and there's no other way I can get them to pick up the acid faster that I can think of anyway. The only other thing I can think of is stop using this and just have 4 of these on the end of all of this, so the acid can then immediately get turned into a battery. But that's the only thing I can think of. That's going to be a whole nother world of setup. And maybe if we're just turning the acid immediately into a battery, then that guy won't get irradiated. I have no idea. But anyway, that's pretty much all of that done. I can have one worker doing the battery, I guess. Oh, I can just get a worker out of here. Hold on one second. There's some issues over here. Why do I have so few workers here? All right, cut down the number of drones because I think I had too many workers here. But we can probably get the facility making batteries back over here now, because the person making batteries isn't going to get irradiated. But the system does work. It's just super inefficient because it has to wait for these slow ass hazmat ants to transport all the materials, and then this slow ass hazmat ant over here to reload the mold rubber. And while these guys are doing the transport, these guys aren't doing anything, and while these guys are loading mold rubber, these transport ants aren't really doing anything. So yeah, fun days. I don't know if this is going to be a good system or not, but we'll have to just let it run and find out. I've got one ant at the moment just gathering mold rubber. I don't know if one ant is enough to keep up with it, so we're going to have to tune these quantities over time. But at the moment we are making acid, so we can make a few batteries, and I think that should be our goal for this episode, and just fix up some other stuff. All right, so we're having some issues over here as well. Oh crap, what has happened? We've run out of fiber. Really should invest in a smart dispenser over on this side of the world. So you've legitimately run out of fiber. I need to set up a new tree somewhere, so let me quickly go and do that. I set these guys up on a new tree, so hopefully these 2 trees will last them for a while. Don't think it will though. Let me get both of these fiber containers over here, just in case they need to grab it from both. That's fine. Now we've run out of fabric completely, which is not good. And we've run out of resin completely, because we keep making these stupid tier 2 ants. All right, we really got to make our supply chain a little bit more solid. Now they're not going to keep making resin because they've got fabric and no concrete. We've got plenty of concrete now. I think they just haven't been making resin for a while, so let me fix them up. You've got concrete but no fabric. Alright, now they're starting to make resin again. Hopefully the fabric production will start keeping up now that I've got that sorted. Anytime there's a sort of a break in production, it kind of screws everything up, which is a little bit annoying. But now we're not getting any tier 2 ants because we don't have resin, but that will soon remedy itself. And we're bringing 1 ant every 60 seconds. I wonder if this ant has finished killing itself yet. Wait, we got a new ant. So that did something. What is in here? Whoa! Look at what this came out with. Is that all resin? Alright, that's a whole thing. So if that's the case, then these hazmat ants, we need to bring all their material back as they get old and die. So we need to set up the old gate. So it's definitely worth trashing these hazmat ants if we're going to get all our resin back. So we need to set up the system to bring all the resin back home, I guess. Either that, or instead of producing the lava on this side of the world, we can use the resin from here. Because it only cost us 1 resin to make this guy, didn't it? And now it's given us a positive amount of resin. Oh man, what the heck? I'm so confused on how we do this system. Is this even resin? I need to check if this is resin. How do I check if this is resin? Let me borrow an ant. Because I can't tell what's inside here. And I don't want to do all this setup and then it's like, it's not even resin. I'm just going to set up a hauling trail out of here. It's going to need to be pretty long because we're going to need a bunch of stockpiles. Going to put a bunch of stockpiles down. 2, 3, 4. Now these guys are getting pretty old, so I need to start getting that old gate working. Doesn't really matter where we get it out of, so I'll just pull them out of... They're pretty slow, so I'm going to pull them out of here as close to the recycler as possible. Oh, this place is messy. I really need to get a concrete core going out of here. Now these guys as well, after they drop off their acid, they should probably old gate the way out of here. So from here maybe. Do it from... Oh, can I get one into the middle here? Yep, there, and then we can elder trail out of there. Hopefully they can make it to the recycler. There we go. That should sort them out. This guy's got a minute left on his lifespan. Our ant is here. Let's see what materials this lovely ant's given us. So we've gotten some regular scrap. Great. Yeah, you made it. What is this? This is copper scrap. Okay, fantastic. And then that is 1 resin. What is that? That is more resin. Yeah, okay. Well, that changes everything then. If these things scrap into resin, then we can create a self-sustaining process on this side of the world instead of using all the brand new resin we're making. Because this is giving us all the resin we need to make new ants, right? So essentially, instead of transporting these ants over, we want to make the lava booster on this side and then just use one of the lava from here to boost into the ant that we want and make our tier 2 ants right here. Okay, that's cool. Let me set all that up and then I'll come back and talk about it. We're going to need to test the system, but I think I've got the basics of it down. It is definitely not the most efficient system in the world, but it all revolves around the fact that once these hazmat ants get trashed, we get resin back, and it looks like we're resin positive in this scenario. So instead of doing our tier 2 ants on the other side and transporting it over, we're only transporting tier 1 ants over. It looks like we have too many again. And we've set up this system over here where this guy will every so often, every 4 minutes in this case, pull an ant out and bring it to the lava booster, and then from the lava booster it's going to store it into this stockpile, and then this stockpile will dispense it over this side. Now hopefully my timing is correct and we can keep this system alive, but basically this system is going to take a thing every 4 minutes and then just basically just keep itself alive. It doesn't do anything else. And then when these guys get older, they will combine into a tier 2 worker. The tier 2 worker will go and work this trail where it's recycling the old hazmat ants. And then when that thing gets old, it's going to go over here and become a new hazmat ant. In theory, this should be a forever cycle. So I don't know what it's going to look like in practice. There's a lot of inefficiencies with this system. Mainly this ant that's trying to grab all this is super slow. So it takes ages for it to do the loop and then grab an acid and put it into one of these stockpiles. So I think this is probably not the best setup. If I come up with something better, I guess we'll change it over at some point. Or who knows, maybe we just need more ants on this trail, which if everything is resin positive, then I don't see why we couldn't just put a few more ants on this trail. But for now, I think this is okay. We'll let this run for a little bit and just see like how many ants we get on the trail and such, and whether we keep the system alive. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. But in the meantime, we should have enough ants now to start making our batteries. So let's go ahead and do that. We need to set up a permanent copper solution over, because we need to start getting copper over here. So we're going to probably do a smart stockpile system over here somewhere. Do we have enough ants on this trail? I feel like we don't have enough ants on this trail anymore, which isn't a problem. We can just get a pod worker to do this. I like the idea of just having a pod worker out here. And then if we need to transport more stuff later, we can have a bunch of pod workers. Feels like a bit annoying just to get a dedicated setup for one pod worker, but don't know what else to do. Either that or we can do something clever with these drones, but then if we get the drones to do that, then they will interfere with their own system. So what I was thinking was we can get a stockpile gate over this side, and then the drone can go and do stuff. All right, let's try that. So if we get a stockpile gate going out this way, we'll try to keep the trail short because we know the drones don't like walking, and then we'll assign it to this copper block stockpile. And then we go, if it's less than, say, 10 blocks, then the drone will go and catapult a copper block out that way. So my copper block dispenser is one of these. That one. So you'll pick up a copper block and then you're going to go and catapult it. And we'll try to put the catapult as close as possible. So you're going to go over here and do that. And then you're going to go over here. Now, we might need to pull this trail back a bit, like this. Let's see if that works, because I don't want to interfere too much with the lava grabbing process. But now it will, if we assign the right target, already messed this up. Let's try again. So it'll do that, and then it'll grab a thing, and then it'll go to the other side of the island. So that should be all good. And that will keep a steady supply of copper blocks over. And now with those copper blocks, we can create our standard thing over here that makes it. So we can go make battery. We'll change that to a hauling trail. We'll bring that over this way and then up. And then we need the acid dispenser. So over here. Now I'm curious to see if the ant can work this trail without getting irradiated. That's the last piece of the puzzle. If not, then we need another radiation ant. So it's going to go in here and then it's going to haul it back this way. And then hopefully it can drop off the battery acid without getting irradiated. We're just going to have to put an ant on here and find out. Now we'll need a storage for the batteries. Oh lord. I put this slightly too far, haven't I? Maybe I can just swap these around like this. And then if we just grab an ant out of this trail, we should be able to send it up there and test this trail out. Need an old gate back. So after you've dropped off your stuff in the stockpile, you can old gate yourself back out somewhere here and then rejoin your friends and become a digger. Let's see if it gets irradiated. Radiated, dropped off. You're all good. You seem to be all good. Cool, we're making batteries. Now, the batteries need to be sent back at some point. So we're going to need another catapult over here to send the batteries back over to this side of the island and start getting them stockpiled. So I've run out of space over here, damn it. Where can I put another catapult? Also, I need to build another catapult, so let me go ahead and do that. And I'll fit another catapult in there, and then we'll get batteries going. Or actually, because batteries are so few, we might not need a catapult. The drones aren't doing anything when they fly back. So after you drop off your thing, why don't you pick up a battery and bring it back for me? How does that sound? So if we put that there, it should be able to bring a battery back. And then now if we put a stockpile over here for batteries, we should be able to let that work, I guess. So we're keeping these drones real busy. We're hyper efficiently using these two drones. They're bringing batteries back that we don't have to set up an entire catapult just for batteries. I think that's probably the most efficient solution. This ant looks fine. He doesn't look like he's getting radiated, even though he's messing about with this thing. So that's a good thing, because he's picking up the acid and dropping it off almost straight away. So it looks fine to me. Now these guys are working okay. I haven't seen the full loop of this yet. This thing is dead. All right, cool. We've run out of what? Why have we run out of eggs? Now you've put one in, fantastic. But these guys died. I think it's just a timing issue. So I'm just gonna get one of these guys temporarily to come back and sort this out. Can't even get them to walk through. Can you walk through this mold rubber without getting irradiated? I think this was a bad idea. Just stay here for a while, get rid of your radiation poisoning, and then walk through here. I don't think it got mold poisoning. Good. So you can work this trail for a bit, because for some reason my tier 2 ant died before it managed to saturate this trail. Maybe this was a little bit too high. Let's chuck that down to 3. Maybe that'll be a bit better. You have no more stuff. Okay, something's broken with this. You're bringing back what? You're bringing back a lava. Good. Why am I short on lava here? That doesn't make any sense. Here comes another lava. Is it because when it went in there, it didn't bring a lava in every single time? Because sometimes it's not holding a lava. Oh, that's a really complex system. Because we definitely want to make sure it drops a lava in there. But we can't guarantee there's always lava here because we're not always saturated on lava. So sometimes it can trigger the timer gate without a lava and then come back and then it didn't bring a lava in there. And then oh man, that's terrible. All right, we're gonna have to edit this system a little bit because I was assuming he's always holding a lava, but he's not always holding a lava. Otherwise we'd have way too many ants here. The way to do it would be to like half go to this one, half go to that one. And then eventually we'd have too much lava here, I think, maybe. Let me figure this out and I'll come back and talk about it. Let's see if this system works. This is a really hacky and terrible solution, but I've put a carry gate over here to check if it's carrying lava. That way it will only, when it's carrying lava, will it do this loop and trigger the timer gate. So while it's not got any lava, it's not going to trigger the timer gate. And when it does have a lava, here we go. Got a lava now it's going to trigger that timer gate. Now it's going to drop one off and then it's going to go back, and then while it has no lava it will be fine. Okay, that was an old ant disappeared. Now what you'll see is also when it has a lava, whenever that is, oh wait, I gotta set this timer gate to every 3 minutes, let's say. All right, so now it has a lava. It's got the timer gate is deactivated. It's going to run the slightly bigger loop and then drop the lava in here. Okay, that seems to work. This double loop. Oh, that's terrible. It's disgusting. This is like just adding crappy code onto crappy code. But hey, it works, so I'm not going to complain. So it's just going to run around with the lava now until it's done. And it's going to drop another one off. All right, fantastic. All right, that seems to be working. So that'll keep ants alive on this trail. Now I'm going to bring this ant to back out of here. Back through the toxic death. And then you're going to go become a hazmat ant again. Oh, all my hazmat ants are dead now, so I'm waiting for some of these to come back to life. I guess we'll just let the system saturate. This is going to take like 18 minutes or something. Oh, this guy's got mold poisoning, damn. All right, well, off you go then. Yeah, not the best and most solid system, and it's going to take like 20 minutes for it to saturate, so we might just call it an end of an episode here and call this our initial setup. I'm sure we can modify this slightly to make it all work more efficiently. Over here, we've pretty much done everything, so we're making batteries non-stop, which is fantastic. Over here, we are transporting the batteries back. That's good. And we're getting some batteries back on the main island, which is the main thing. Let's just double check all our other processes before we leave. Our iron is positive. Copper seems to be okay. Glass seems to be okay. Is it positive? Yeah, I think so. I mean, this one looks like it's constantly got glass working. I think I got an extra ant here for some reason. What do I have 5 ants on my 4 ant trail? What the heck? I'm going insane. I think it's just because the glass is backing up. That's why it's doing this. Anyway, let's check the rest of the materials. Our fiber is low. We've only got 30 fiber. That's fine. We're flying back as much fiber as we can, I think. And we are getting fiber, so that should be fine. We might just need to mine fiber a little bit faster. This system seems to be okay. Our 2 ants are still alive. Our queen is maintaining stage 13. We don't have anything to worry about there. We don't need to worry about these guys because they're just trying to make... Well, I'm not going to get rid of this because we're going to need the tier 2 lava on this island to make the rest of this next episode. So that's all going okay. Everything else seems to be fine. Our iron's fine. Our copper's fine. Our fabric is just in balance. Our resin is positive, although we should be getting way more resin now. Let's have a look at our resin. Yeah, they're both making resin, so that seems to be okay. This is just how much resin positive we are. Our concrete is now positive. Our glass is okay. All our other goods seem to be okay. We need to get our resistors working. Our resistors are indeed working, I think. What's wrong with you? Ah, silly. This thing is not the right way to do it. I forgot the good old resistor thing is super annoying. So it's actually 2 diodes, right? 2 diodes to 1 thing. So we need to get this divider to go to the diode thing twice. Like this. And then a holding trail this way. I believe that's how it works. Let's get it onto this divider. Nope. Why did it do that? I think I need to move these back a little bit for this trail because it's a little bit annoying. Let's try putting the divider like here and here. And then apparently it's getting it out of that one. So we're going to get it there. Let's just do it safe and bring it back to a common point. So I'm going to do this. Let's just do it again. We'll get a divider to go to 2 points. Those 2 points will then collapse into a singular point. That singular point will then come over here. And then this divider's trail will go over here. It's a little bit long, but it should work. Let's see if it can do a full cycle. Our stockpile of energy orb 3s are full as well. So we've got to put a new stockpile in. Otherwise, they're not unloading these recyclers. Look how many extra inventor ants we have. We've been recycling all these inventor ants. Terrible. But yeah, we've got to do something about that as well. Like if we need, like, but the thing is we don't need these things. So it's like, why bother? Anyway, this thing looks like it's okay now. So it's going to the right trails to get the right things. And then now it's making resistors non-stop. Fantastic. So we probably need another stockpile gate over here to get resistors as well, because eventually we're going to run out of resistors as well. So that's the final part of the loop, but we use so few resistors, that should be a future Alan problem, I guess. We'll have to figure it out. We probably need a more robust system over here for the drones to bring either resistors or the other thing. So we need another stockpile gate somewhere. We might have to pull this whole thing backwards and sort that out, but we'll do that next episode because I don't know what else we need to do here. This looks pretty robust now. And we are getting a hazmat ant doing something. Yep, this hazmat ant is putting the acid away. We don't have any more hazmat ants at the moment, but hopefully this will saturate the system over time. If not, we'll have to increase the number over here. But it seems like every system we've made is stable. Let's just quickly check the desert island before we go. Everything here looks okay, except we have run out of copper scrap. Yep, all right. I think I've run out of copper scrap since the start of this episode. Let me just quickly grab some more copper scrap. I think there was a thing over here. Now I'm gonna have to get a hauling trail to get rid of this thing before we can get to the main copper. So instead of these guys going up this way into nowhere, we need to bring them down over here now. So get a null trail going into this thing. Oh, screw that up. Get a null trail going into this thing, and then they can drop off their thing, and then an old gate can take them back out, and then they can go meet their brothers over on this side. Let's get them back into the main trail. You guys can just go recycle yourselves. I don't really care. We got too many ants over here anyway. This system has kept itself alive pretty well, so I'm not too worried about this. Great. All our systems seem to be stable and working, which is fantastic. Next episode, we're going to start working on Instinct 33. Now that we have batteries coming back to our main thing, we've got to figure out how heli drones work, and then we can come up with a plan on how we're going to get Tier 2 workers, battery workers, heli drones, pod worker 4s and 5s into our main building. That's going to be a fun challenge. We're definitely going to need more ants. We might need to up our ant level at some point to stage 14, and then we should be able to do more stuff, or either that or we just get a second assembler here to get more ants over here that we can add a few more colliders. But we'll leave all that for next episode, but we'll call it here. If you don't want to miss out on what's coming next, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.